Okay, in today's Neve tutorial, we're going to be applying a custom countdown timer to a shopping page in WooCommerce. So to get started, let's take a look at the site that we're going to be working with. This is a Neve starter site. I'm not sure if it's free or if you need the pro version, but either way, you can download it as is and customize it into whatever kind of shopping site you want it to be. I like to build from scratch, but hey, you can get some inspiration from these starter sites. Anyway, let's go back. Oh, you can see I've already been playing around with it. All right, here we are on our main administrative screen. So go down to Neve and select Custom Layouts. Just to reiterate, this is up and running. This is selected, it's activated, and it's what we're working on. Okay, so under Custom Layouts, come up here and select Add New. Select hooks. What are hooks? I'll tell you what. That is beyond the scope of this tutorial. Someday I'll do like a whole 2-hour breakdown of all things Neve, and I'll explain what things like that mean. But for now, go ahead and create hooks. Select type. We want that to be after header hook. And we'll give it a name. We'll call it countdown. All right. Click on create custom layout. Here we go. Okay, and so because we named it countdown, the pages are, you get the idea. Let's go ahead and create a section block. Go ahead and click skip. And while we're here, let's just create a heading really quick. Let's call it enjoy free shipping on all items. All right, since I want to learn how to spell. Okay, since we're here, let's go ahead and center align it and make it an H3. Come up here and click on the plus sign in the first section block that we added. Type countdown. And okay, there it is. This is the Otter Blocks countdown. If I didn't mention when I started the tutorial, it's not just Neve we're working with Otter Blocks. Specifically, this applies to the free version of Otter Blocks. So go ahead and select countdown. Now come up here to our document overview. That's the little staircase here. Click on that. And let's expand everything and just see where we're at, what we got. Okay, so we want to take this heading that we created and we want it to appear above the countdown. So we're simply going to drag it, going to drop it up there, and now everything is within that section. Go ahead and select that section. Now let's come over here and click on the Style tab. Click on Background Content. Click on Background. Click on Image. And upload. If you don't have a suitable image, you don't have to use an image. You can just use a color. Not upload. I think I have one in the library. All right, Kansas City at night. All right, kind of in the way, huh? Let's make some changes here. Let's go to padding. 100 pixels. Okay, there's our nice shot of Kansas City. Let's go down to background and content. And under background, click on background overlay. So since this is a starter site, it has a default color theme already applied to it, and we want it to match the rest of the site. Go ahead and select this orange color here. Let's make it, I would say, that's about right. Okay, now we want these to be opaque, so go ahead and click on the countdown again, and go back to style. Okay, now here under color, right away, just go ahead and click on background and click on orange, and now you can see that these are opaque. We want to go back to that though. So here next to color, see these 3 dots? Go ahead and click on those. Click on time value. Now, so there's now a check mark. Label, separator, border. Now if we look, we now have color values for all of those different items. And I happen to know that we're going to want to change them to white just to match this particular theme. So we're going to go through and we're going to change everything to white. And while we're at it, we want to go ahead and change this heading. So click on the heading, go over to colors, text, and white. And we want to apply some size formatting to these boxes here. So go ahead and click on them. Go over to the Style tab, click on Dimensions. And let's see, I'm gonna give it a width of 35 and a height of 120. Let's see what that looks like. For whatever reason, it doesn't preview like I wish it would. You actually have to hit the preview button to see what it's going to look like. But that looks good, so close out of the preview. Let's set some more formatting options. So we're going to click on that. We're going to go back to Style. We're going down. We're going to click on the down arrow to expand to Typography. Let's see. This is the time value size, so the numbers. Let's click on XL. No, not big enough. Let's click on these set custom size icon. And we're going to change that to 4. We'll say 4 for now. That might change. Okay. Font weight. Let's do 900. Looks like, nah, that's too much. 600. That's good. That's good. Okay. Label font size. The label would be the day, hour, minute, and second. We're gonna see what XL looks like on that. Okay. I think that's good enough, and I don't think we should bother with the font weight. So let's go ahead and configure the countdown. Go ahead and select it. Go back over here to the right and select settings. Okay, so if you're working with the free version of Otter Blocks, of the 3 options that are available, you only have static available to you. Evergreen and interval are available in the Pro version. You can do some very interesting things with them, especially interval. We're not going to be covering them today. I might do a more thorough tutorial on this in the future, in which case we will look at those. But for now, if you're following along with the free version, static is fine. Let's go ahead and select a date. Okay, now whatever date and time we pick it's going to start counting down from now. So let's just click on the 31st and let's leave the hours and minutes and seconds alone. And by the way, if you want to just display, if you want to change what's being displayed, you can go over here after you select this and click on settings and go down to display, and you can like turn off days, turn off hours. But for our purposes, we want them as they are. We also want to leave that value as 6. All right, let's take a preview of what we got. All right, that's looking pretty good. I might just want to make that a little bigger. All right, that's good. Okay. So for the most part, this is done. Let's go back to the site that we're going to be working on. And this is it. It's live. It's on an actual web server. I'm not working off local today. So this is the shop page. It displays all of the items available in the store. This is where we want our custom layout to appear. So let's go back to the custom layout page. Let's click on the entire section. Go back over to settings. I'm sorry. Click on the custom layout tab. All right, now go down here and under custom layout settings, we want hooks selected. Don't worry about enable expiration date right now. For hooks, we want to select after header hook. We can leave the priority at 10, but we need to set our conditional logic. This is applied site-wide. So if I take that back, if we leave this alone and we apply this custom layout, it will appear on every page. We don't want it to appear on every page. We only want it to appear on the products page. So click select. We want archive type is equal to, scroll down, there are products. Okay, Let's go ahead and publish it. Great. Let's go back to our e-commerce site here. Let's reload the shop page. And there's our timer. All right, now you might be thinking, okay, so what happens when the timer runs out? Let's go back to our custom layout. Get rid of this here. Select the countdown again. And go over to block, and down to settings, end action. Okay, so if we take the on expire and we leave it at no action, it'll count down to 0, but then it'll just stay there. We also have the ability to hide the countdown after it reaches 0 and redirect to link. If we select a redirect link, whatever URL we put in that box there, after this has reached 0, when a customer goes to that page, they will be redirected to whatever link we put in there. We want to go ahead and click Show Hide Blocks when the countdown ends. So for example, if you select just hide the countdown, I've never actually tested it out, but as far as I know, it will only hide the countdown and the rest of it will still exist, which is not, we don't want that. So back down to the end action, where we want to toggle hide show blocks when the countdown ends. Now we have some CSS code. The first one is the show code. Let's see what happens when we apply it. In fact, let's add something to this. Let's add a section. And in that section, let's go ahead and add a heading. These are, I'm not very creative today. Some words. Okay, and while we're here, we'll go ahead and center align it. We're not going to make this a part. This is going to remain separate. We're not going to make it a part of the other section. So this is going to stay its own section. Okay, so we have the code under end action for show trigger. Let's see what happens when we go down to this section. We go down to advanced, scroll down to additional CSS classes, apply it. All right, let's preview that in a tab. Where did the text go? Okay, so the CSS code that we used, the text or anything else you apply it to, you can create a whole page. When you apply that particular CSS code to it, that will not exist until the countdown reaches 0. So when that countdown reaches 0, then these are some words will suddenly appear. Okay, let's go back to the timer, click on end action again, let's scroll down and hide sugar. So I'll do the same thing with this section. We'll go back down, we're gonna change the CSS class to the hide code. All right, let's take a look at that. And there's the text. So what's going to happen is when this reaches 0, this will disappear. So you can have a whole page of stuff, and as long as you have the code to make it disappear applied to it, it will all disappear when that hits 0. So like I said, I'm not sure if this whole thing will disappear or not if we use the end action of hide. I think it will just hide the timer and the rest of it will still be there, which we don't want. So we would want to take that same hide trigger, go up to this first section that we created that has everything in it, scroll down to additional classes, apply it in there, and this way, no real point in previewing it, but this way, when the countdown hits 0, this and anything else that you have that applied to will not only disappear, but when this hits 0, absolutely all of this will disappear. Not just the timer, enjoy for your items, the background, the whole section will disappear. So you would definitely always want to apply the code. Let's just do something cute here really quick. Let's delete that. Let's select our countdown here. Let's go over. Okay, When you're working in Otter Blocks, you want to make sure that animation, visibility, condition, and custom CSS is turned on because you're often going to need them. If these are turned off and we go over here, the options for them don't exist. So let's say, for example, we want animation because we want to make this cute. So we have the countdown selected. We're going to go to animation. I'm going to select bounce in. Looks good. Let's update it. Let's go back to our shop page. And I think I have the the code applied to it, of course. There it is. You could have rendered a little better. Let's anyway, that's it. So that concludes this tutorial. Like I said, there are, in the pro version, you have evergreen and interval. We're just not going to cover those today. It's outside the scope as far as what things like hooks are outside the scope. You might be wondering at this point, okay, so I've showed you how to make little elements here and there that would go in a web page. What about making a web page? Keep following along with these tutorials, and eventually we're going to take a number of the tutorials, a good number of them, and we're going to apply them to create an actual entire web page. Let's see, what am I supposed to say? Like, subscribe, comment. Anyway, now you know how that's done. If you have the pro version, go ahead and play around with all these options. If you don't have the pro version, go ahead and play around with all these options. There are so many different little tiny things you can configure. It's worth looking at. So, have a good day.